I do think when Adam Lazzarra gets on stage for Taking Back Sunday, you would love to hear him be able to sing the songs he can sing. I don't know that he can, right? I've seen him multiple times. They've always kind of been that way. So if you're used to that, then you know what you're getting yourself into.
Those of us who have been in this for a while know that Adam has always been very inconsistent live. Never mind the fact that a lot of the stuff that they do is impossible to sing, period.
It's some of the hardest music to sing. Yeah. So
as a person who has done Make Damn Sure in the original key live, it's one of the most challenging songs to sing, end of sentence.
Yeah. I think for most of us that have been along for this whole ride, I kind of wish they would just drop the key, right? Like just drop the key, give them a chance, give them a fighting chance. You know, I don't know whose decision it is on their team that refuses to do that. But like I said, I've seen them enough times to know what I was getting into. So, for me, it was kind of like, okay, it's fun to sing the songs the way I remember them. Right. So, then there are other acts, that I think there were some accusations of some auto tuning and some maybe lip syncing going on and stuff like that. And going back to does the audience care? I couldn't see many people that cared, there were a couple of things that I had some questions about, just being, familiar with production side of things. Do I care? No. Do I care that We the Kings comes out with a bunch of backing tracks? Not at all. Not at all. I don't care. Do they sound good? Yeah. If people are having a good time and enjoying it, I think the rest of it is kind of maybe just gear talk for us, right? It's kind of we get in our own heads for musicians in terms of like, whether things are appropriate or not.
So you're not mad at Craig for lip syncing half of Chiodos' set?
Well, I didn't catch most.
Allegedly.
I didn't catch most of it, but I caught the tail end of the song and it sounded great to me. So that's what I'll say.
Pretty easy to do when you're, and I don't even know. I'm just being difficult because the conversations that we've been having about Frankie Valli in the Slack it's the exact same conversation.
Yeah. I mean, that's the question, right? Like, does it allow the band to go out there and still play music and make people have a good time? If that's the case, and people are enjoying it, then maybe use those tools. I'm not the arbiter of what's punk rock or emo or music in general, right? I can have my own opinion. That means, that may mean that I might not go see Frankie Valli, right? But I think it's for each band to kind of make their own decision. Is it cringe? I don't know, maybe.
The interesting thing is thinking about this specifically through the Taking Back Sunday lens. What would people in their fan base be more upset about? Adam Lazzarra lip syncing to the studio track and it sounds amazing, just like it does, like the way you remembered, and he's up there and he's being super charismatic and it sounds great, or he's doing it live and it sounds the way that it sounds.
I mean, that's the balance you got to strike, right? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for that. I think being in this community, there is a lot of like, traditionally there's been a lot of gatekeeping kind of, punk sphere of music just in general. And I frankly think a lot of it's stupid. I'm not so bought into it. Although I will say, I grew up listening to a lot of NoFX and stuff, and I posted something about NoFX recently and people are like, oh God, they're so awful. And live, yeah, they're pretty bad. The Fat Mike isn't a great singer, but you know what? It's a fun show. I think that it kind of depends, if Fat Mike were to throw auto-tune on or lip sync, like I wouldn't be so stoked about that, like for taking.
I just want to hear what it would sound like to auto-tune Fat Mike.
Yeah, it would be pretty wild. I mean, my hunch is there may be some subtle auto-tuning going on in the albums for sure, but if you came out with like a T-Pain vibe, yeah, that'd be pretty interesting. But yeah, I think
there's no time to do it now. It's over.
For sure. It's done, right? It's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I go back to that. It's like maybe a case by case scenario, maybe it's my favorite bands. Like I'll kind of overlook it. Maybe if it's bands that I'm kind of a casual listener, I see them lip syncing and I'm kind of like, not for me.
The one thing that kind of cracked me up is a lot of the reviews that I saw, there was like a particular checklist on whatever band was playing. And it was, did I see crying in the crowd? Yeah. Whether it was like a check or like a red X. And there was a lot of check marks, specifically during MCR's set.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of in the name, right? The emo stuff, right? Like people do get emotional seeing these acts, especially if you haven't ever seen My Chemical Romance. It's a pretty eye-opening thing, right? Like it's like, especially if it's one of your favorite bands, it's pretty emotional up there. There's a lot of dust in the air, I think, during some of these sets, especially for folks like me. Like I said, I love Cartel and I'd never seen them. Me and my wife looked at each other when we were singing, like, honestly, we're like, I can't believe they were seeing this right now at our age. It's kind of one of those moments. So I mean, I don't know that I shed many tears myself. I wouldn't admit to it at least. Right. But it was a good time, man. It's just fun to see people still kind of caring about this music. Right.
Hey man, I'm not above saying that if you catch me at a Jimmy Eat World show, I'm going to be in my feels.
Yeah, that's us too. We're huge Jimmy Eat World fans over here.
They play anything off Futures, like I'm toast. Like that's
yeah. I think that's the other thing too with this genre is like it is pretty broad, right? Like I said with the term emo, like you can fit almost anything under it, So there was Millionaires played and stuff like that, which is kind of like the party, it's like a club music almost, But
did you see the ASL translator
303?
for 303, but specifically for Millionaires also.
Oh no, I did not.
Oh man, they were putting her to work. The lyrics on those songs are absolutely just
bonkers.
Unhinged. Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, you should look them up, or don't.
Do or don't.
You might be upset.
Yeah.
It is upsetting.
At your own peril, I suppose, right?
Yes.